Welcome to Lesson 5 of AMZ Affiliate Bootcamp. Today, we're going to be covering the strategy that we mentioned, which is the best strategy to kick off your new site that we talked about in our 5-month plan in the last lesson. And it's going to be using experts to help grow your brand. So more specifically, what is this top expert strategy? Well, the idea is really simple. You create a list post featuring top influencers and bloggers in your niche, and then you reach out to them to show the post. This tactic is efficient and effective to get you high-quality links on relevant websites in almost any niche. It can also drive some natural shares and traffic from social media, so this is a perfect strategy to kickstart a new website. This tactic works really well because most people love being appreciated for their work and being shown as the top of the industry. And you're linking to them, which encourages them to reciprocate as well. So as a result, they're a lot more inclined to link to your content and respond favorably to a request to post a guest post on their blog as well. So here are 2 examples to show you how effective this strategy is. The first example is Thank Your Skin's top 44 natural and organic beauty blogs to follow. It had 102 shares and 7 unique backlinks. And if you remember, we're trying to go for 50 links in 5 months, which is 10 links per month, which is 2.5 per week. Well, guess what? You basically just got 3 weeks worth of links with one post in this example. And this is actually an example of our own site. It features 44 natural and organic beauty blogs, and it got a bunch of shares, bunch of backlinks, and it was really effective use of our time. The second example is 50 blogs that'll help you become a better blogger in 2016. This got 544 shares and 16 unique backlinks. It's another great example. So as you can see, a single post with this kind of method can be extremely effective at driving traffic, social shares, and building links. Let's break down the 5 steps to help you create your own successful top experts campaign. Step 1 is to choose a topic or an angle. So there's a couple ways to do it. The second step is to find your experts. The third step is to create an awesome list post. The fourth step is to notify said experts. And finally, you're going to want to follow up and get your links. Okay, so let's dive into the details of each step to map out your campaign. So in this first step, we'll show you how to choose a topic and angle for the process. After all, you're going to want to choose a topic that resonates well with your target audience, your audience being your own visitors as well as the experts you choose and their visitors too, since you want them to want to link to you. One standard approach is using the headline, the top X blogs to follow in whatever industry. It's a good formula, but it's a bit overused, so you may want to change it up to something slightly more specific. For example, here are 2 fill-in-the-blank formulas that you can use. You can have X websites to visit if you want to be better at whatever topic, right? You can have woodworkers, designers, surfers. And then the second fill-in-the-blank template you can use is top X blogs that will help you, and then insert some kind of desirable outcome for your audience. Remember, no one will be interested in a super broad post like 50 health blogs you want to follow, so be specific, but don't choose topics that are also too small or you won't find enough sites to feature, or you might have trouble appealing to both your own audience and the other person's audience of your expert site if it's too narrow. So you're going to want to have a happy medium. A good topic is one that you can find at least 50 sites to include, and try to include as many as possible, because assuming, say, 10% of the sites will give you a link, well, if you have a post of 50 experts, then you get 5 links, and 100 experts would get you 10 links. So more is pretty much always better. Here are some examples to give you ideas. 50 websites to visit if you want to be better at woodworking. Top 100 blogs that will help you run faster. 55 blogs that will help you double your productivity. And hopefully you get the idea. There's so many different angles you can use in whatever niche that you're in. All right, now let's go through step 2. Step 2 is going to be finding experts to include in your post. There's several ways to do this, but the first way we're going to start with is actually searching on Google. And right now, as you can see here on this first column here, we have different search operators that you can use to find blogs effectively. So it's using things like top keyword blogs, whatever your keyword is, you just insert it in the middle there. Top blank websites, top blank experts, putting quotes around it, and blank blog. And also using this operator here as well, in URL : space keyword. Okay, so let's actually do a live example of this. Let's take this first search operator here and search for top skincare blogs. So as you can see, the results here give us a lot of different examples of blogs we can use. We've got the best skincare blogs of 2015, best beauty blogs, 20 best beauty blogs of 2016, 9 top beauty bloggers share their skincare routines, 50 best beauty blogs right now, etc. And we can open these up and add these to our list of possible experts to include. Now the next step is going to be going to each of these sites which have their own list of blogs and finding these and adding them to our list. So we've got the best skincare blogs of 2015. We can open these different ones up, like this one, the next one, makeupgirl.com, etc. We can go through and collect all of these and then just go on. Then we've got the next one. Yeah, and open these different blogs up and just go down the list and save all of them, because they've already got the roundups put together to start with, so it's a good place for us to start as well. Now another thing we can search for is putting quote skincare, which is our keyword, blogs. And some of the results might be the same. For example, the first result of both of those searches were this one right here, best skincare blogs of 2015, but some of these other ones are very, very different. Actually, it looks like all of these other ones are different. And we can go here, organic beauty and skincare blogs, another skincare blog, and they'll either be lists of blogs, like a roundup of 20 blogs, for example, or they'll be individual blogs usually. You might get some different results here, like there might be some answers here in Quora, but these will be all entries that we can add to our lists. Another way to do it is actually to take out the S and search for just skincare blogs. So this will be less of lists of blogs and instead individual blogs that are ranking very highly in Google. Now there's other things we can search for as well. We don't have to always search directly for blogs in our search operator here, but instead we can just search for related keywords and then take the first 5 results and we'll probably find some good blogs. For example, we can type in DIY sunscreen recipe, which is a keyword. And then we can go through and find the top 5 results, and most of them will probably be blogs. This is a blog, that looks like it's a blog as well. This one's a blog, this one's a blog as well. Now, searching on Google is not the only option here. We can also search on some other sites which will help us find more blogs more quickly. So we can go to alltop.com and search for our keyword here in this search bar here. And then what it'll come up with is having search results in a couple different categories. And at this point, you're going to want to pick the ones that are most relevant to your keyword and your niche. So for example, we mainly got 2 here, acne and beauty. And so we can see here that they've got these lists of blogs here and each of these tabs. And it's a quick way to very quickly add a whole bunch of different blogs to your list. Now another tool that we use is called FollowerWonk, which you can find at moz.com/followerwonk, and that's WONK. So what you're going to want to do is log in, and you can actually log in for free to use a trial version of the free version of FollowerWonk. And all you have to do is type in your keyword. So let's go with skincare and blog. And now what will happen is you'll see this list of Twitter users that have the term skincare blog in their profile, and they might not be 100% accurate. You might get some profiles that put in a bunch of random words and clearly don't look like legitimate profiles. However, you can go through and quickly find really socially popular Twitter profiles that are skincare blogs, because you can see that they you can sort by tweets, how many followers they've got, social authority, etc. So if you want to go in and find the most popular skincare blogs through this route, you'll probably come up with a different list of very popular blogs as well. And finally, once we have our list of blogs from these other sources, the 3 previous strategies and techniques we just went through, we can actually expand our list even further by finding related websites. So all we have to do is take the lists that we found and just type in related : and the name of the URL right here. So for example, right now we got related to mybeautybunny.com, and then now we can see very similar websites that Google will display for us. And we've got 20 results, and most of them will probably be solid. And then we can go through and do that for as many blog URLs that we want. and we might end up with 20 times as many options. So basically, it's easy to find a plethora of different brands to include that are all popular on either Google, Twitter, etc. Okay, so once you get all of these different sources of blogs to include, you're going to go through to this second tab on our spreadsheet here, which you can find below this video, and fill out all this information. So you're going to want to put in the first and last name, the contact information, URL, showing that it's a blog or what type of site that it is, domain authority, topics, and also the most recent post date. Basically, this is just a way to easily do your due diligence and go through and make sure these are all very high quality blogs that we should spend some time on. And one thing to note is that it may not be immediately obvious how to find their contact information. They might have a contact page, which you can show, you can easily find their email at, but let's go through some additional ways to find people's email address from their website. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to find people's email addresses. Usually, they may not always have it on their site, but we should definitely always check. There's usually going to be some kind of contact page or about page that we can take a look at, and they might include their email there. But if they don't, which it doesn't look like they do here, which is especially for high traffic blogs, you get a lot of spam if you actually write your email on this. So the next thing we can do is type in our own email here and click submit. And what's going to happen is they're probably going to email us immediately with some kind of confirmation email that actually has the main person's contact email for their blog. So for example, this is the confirmation email that the owner of this blog sends, Jennifer Matthews, and it's got her email in it. Now it might be actually taken care of by her assistant, but it is a good contact email for this blog. Now, just a couple other things before I move on to another method for finding emails. So the person might have this space here of where you subscribe in a couple different places. For example, on this blog, it's actually not on the home page. You have to click through to the Start Here page to find it, and it's only on certain pages. So you might want to look around a bit for it. It might be a pop-up. It might be at the bottom in the footer. It might vary, but the main thing is if you can't find it directly on the page, just opt in, and you should be able to find their email address. Now, again, we're going to talk about another way in a second, so you don't have to subscribe to 100 different blogs at once, but it's a good method to use. And another thing to think about as well is that if you don't want to go through and do all of this yourself, then the people you have helping you write your articles and any kind of assistance that you have for your website, then they can easily do this as well, right? Like, this is not super complicated stuff. You can show any kind of VA this same video and train them on how to do this to save yourself some time. So just something to keep in mind. But let's talk about the next method for finding email addresses for blogs. So the next method is to use this free tool called emailhunter.co. And basically all you have to do is take the URL of the blog, take it, and put it into the search bar right here. And then boom, it immediately finds the same email address that we actually saw before that she sends from. And you can ignore this part right here. These are just the references for where it was found. So there's more that we need to find beyond just the contact email. We got to look at a couple other factors as well to make sure that these blogs are worth their time. So for example, we want to actually save the date of the most recent post. So what are some other things that we need to check to verify that any given website is worth our time? Well, as you can see here, there's several different columns that we need to check on. And the cool thing is we've gone in and added instructions to each of these column headers. So if you click on them, they actually give you the specific directions for how to do each one, and they're simple questions, yes or no. So for example, you're going to want to quickly check the last 5 posts and see, are they good, basically? Is it a good quality blog? You're going to want to actually check and do some searches to make sure that they have some things we want to check out. So for example, we're going to want to search for if they have a resource or a blog roll page that links to other relevant sites, because again, this is one of the ways that we can verify that they're going to be likely to link back to us, right? We can't know for sure, but what we can do is, make an educated guess based on some important factors that will likely do that. So searching for things like site domain.com/blog is one good option. And then we go through, and the next column we can search for is seeing if they have a press or media page where they're likely to link to us as well, where they say, hey, we've been featured in the top 50 beauty blogs on this other website, which is going to be ours because we wrote that post, right? So for example, we can search for, to find a media page, we can search site : then the name of the URL, and then space media. And so we can scroll down a little bit here and find that they have a media page, which actually usually the URL is going to be the domain/media anyways. And we can click on this and see that this is where they're going to link out to, hey, look, they've been featured in all these different places. It's a legit blog that's very, very popular. And so if we feature them as well, then they're going to be likely to add us to this list, which then gives us a link. So again, you're going to want to go down this list and check for each one of these to make sure they're all yeses, or at least most of them are. And so for the last example, we can do the same thing to search for verifying that they've had guest posts already on their sites, because, for example, if they have never had a guest post on their site, then it's more likely that they're going to say no if we ask them to guest post. So all we have to do is search for site : domain.com guest post. So let's do that now. So if we search for that search operator, we immediately find that they even have a list of guest posts, and actually it's not a list, it's actually a place to submit guest posts, and different. They actually have a system for exactly how to format it and all this good stuff. So not only can we use that as instructions, but the main thing is we can see proof that they accept good guest posts. Now the last column to pay attention to is this score column right here. So basically, you might be wondering, how exactly is that calculated? It's basically a numerical summary of the different answers here. So it takes into account the domain authority and the answers to these questions, whether they're yes or no. So for example, if we change this this column right here to a no, then we find that the score goes down. And by the way, a higher score is better. It just gives us an easy way to rank different blogs in a systematic way to see which are the best opportunities, again, based on domain authority and also basically how likely they're going to link to us and how good of a quality the website is, which is summarized by these different questions. So once you go through and fill out this the spreadsheet with the blogs that you found, then you'll have this score here, which you can then sort by score highest to lowest. And then at that point, you can easily see which are the best opportunities. Just go down the list, highest score first. The third step in this process is to then go and create an awesome list post. That means you're going to need to put together a WordPress post featuring all the selected sites that we just found in the walkthrough we just had. So for each site, simply include the URL and a screenshot of the homepage together with a flattering description, maybe 50 to 75 words. We also recommend that you create a little badge like what you're seeing on the screen. It's optional and a little bit of extra work, but we found having this badge could give your post much more credibility and a much higher chance of getting links, because some people will want to take this badge and share it on their own sites. And you can create a badge like this on Upwork.com or Fiverr.com quite cheaply. Step 4 is to notify your experts. This step is absolutely crucial, because now you're going to need to reach out to those experts and let them know that they were featured in a way that engages them, strokes their ego a bit in a genuine way, and also gets them to reciprocate. Here is an exact email template that you can use. You can find this template below the video to download for your use, but also remember that while this is designed to help speed things up, the final customized email should not read like a template, or else it's likely to be ignored. Remember about our tips about the best practices of outreach and making emails personalized. Here's the template that you can use. You can have the email subject line of something like, "Love your awesome blog." And then the body can be short and to the point. It can say, "Hi person, I love what you're doing on whatever the site name is. I just wanted to give you a heads up that you were featured in my latest article on whatever your topic is. Here's the link, and I really hope it delivers some new visitors to your site. Cheers." Pretty simple, right? Now, once you email your experts, another strategy is that you can share your posts on Twitter and include the Twitter handles of the experts directly so that they get notifications. You won't be able to get them all in one tweet, of course, but especially if you've got 50, 100, 200 people in it. But you can tweet it several times over a couple days to mention each expert at least once, and then many of them will likely retweet you. The next step is to follow up with anyone who doesn't respond to improve your overall success rate. For those who don't reply after a few days, you can use the following email template as well. So you can have an email subject of something like, "Hey, I was just talking about you," which makes it sound very personal and kind of would grab your attention. You're like, "What? Why are you talking about me?" And then say, "Hey person, this name, just checking in to see if you've received the email I sent a few days ago. You're featured in my article, and here's the link. Cheers." Usually with this tactic, you don't need to push really hard for a link because most people will naturally share your post on their blog and social media because, again, it's good for them as well. But I want to add this additional step to make sure you have the best chance of getting a link. So for those who reply back, you can also use this template to respond and leverage your article into some guest posting opportunities on the other person's site. So you can say something like, "Hey, person's name, I'm so glad you liked it," assuming they liked it. "And I'm such a big fan of your blog. By the way, I'm still new to this whole blogging world. I just started this site pretty recently, so getting some exposure to my tiny blog would be awesome. I was wondering if I could contribute a guest post for your blog. Here are some ideas that I think your audience would really, really like." And then you can list off your ideas and maybe a short summary. "Let me know what you think, and I'd be happy to get started right away. Thanks." At this point, if they say yes and allow you to guest post, then great. That's a really great opportunity. Write the post quickly and send it over with your bio. And you can actually learn more about the exact process to do this in lesson 7, which is coming up soon. But if they say no, you shouldn't stop there, but rather continue to build the relationship. So them saying no to your request of a guest post doesn't mean, "Hey, don't ever talk to me again." So instead, be nice and thank them for their time with this template that you can use as well. And don't forget that all templates that we're talking about are also below this video, so you don't have to write it all down. So you can say, "No worries, person's name. I understand that whatever the reason is for not declining. Thanks for your time, and let's keep in touch." Okay, great. So now it's time to get started with your first top experts post today, while this is still fresh in your mind. In the next lesson, we'll discuss blog commenting campaigns, which is another integral part of your site promotion strategy.